Welcome back to Cultivating Her. I'm Christy Edgar, and today we're diving into one of the most foundational yet misunderstood aspects of women's health, the hormonal hierarchy. Your hormones are like the conductors of an orchestra, influencing everything from your energy and mood to metabolism, sleep, and even how you handle stress. But understanding how these hormones work and how they interact can be a game changer for your health. In this episode, we're breaking it all down. The HPA and the HPO axes, the key hormones like cortisol, insulin, oxytocin, and the sex hormones, and how they all fit together in your body's hormonal symphony. We'll also talk about how to spot when something's out of tune and what you can do to bring it back into harmony. So grab a cup of tea, get cozy, and let's uncover the blueprint to understand your hormones and reclaim your health. Welcome to Cultivating Her, breaking taboos, balancing hormones, and redefining women's health. I'm your host, Christy Edgar, an integrative nutrition health coach and holistic lifestyle expert. Join me as we dive into the world of menstrual health, hormone balance, and the connection to women's wellness. Whether you're looking to decode your cycle, tackle PMS, or manage menopause, this show is your go-to to syncing your lifestyle with your hormonal rhythms. Through candid conversations, practical tips, and a few expert interviews, Cultivating Her empowers women to embrace their cycles and align their lifestyle to boost energy and thrive in every phase of life. Subscribe now and start flowing with confidence as we redefine what it means to be a woman with harmonious health. Hello, friends, and welcome back to the podcast. Today, we're diving into one of my favorite topics, the hormonal hierarchy. Understanding this hierarchy is a game changer for women's health because it's foundational of how our bodies function. And you know how I feel about understanding how the body works. Hormones aren't just about periods or menopause. They're messengers that impact everything from our energy to our mood, metabolism, and more. So let's get started. Before we dive into the hormonal hierarchy, let's take a moment to talk about the endocrine system. Now, if you're like most people I speak to, you just made a face and wondered, the what? Endo who? You're in good company. The endocrine system might be the most overlooked system in the body, next to the lymphatic system. But don't you worry, stick with me, and I'll make sure you get up to speed. Today, we start with the endocrine system. This system is your body's internal communication network. It's made up of glands, such as the thyroid, the adrenal, and the ovaries, which produce and release hormones directly into your bloodstream. These hormones act as messengers, traveling to different organs and tissues of the body and regulate everything from metabolism and growth to mood and reproduction. When the endocrine system is in balance, your body functions smoothly, but when it's out of balance, it can lead to a variety of health issues. Now, when we talk about the endocrine system, we have to talk about the master regulators, the hypothalamus and the pituitary. At the top of the endocrine system's chain of command are the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland. These two structures work together to regulate nearly every hormone in your body. The hypothalamus, it is a small but mighty region of the brain that acts as the control center. It constantly monitors the body's internal environment. It's like a thermostat. It sends signals to the pituitary gland to adjust hormone levels as needed. It is responsible for regulating hunger, thirst, sleep, and body temperature, as well as linking the nervous system to the endocrine system. The pituitary gland. It is often called the master gland. The pituitary is located just below the hypothalamus. It receives instruction from the hypothalamus and releases hormones that influence nearly every other gland in the body, including the thyroid, the adrenals, and the ovaries. The pituitary is divided into two parts. The anterior pituitary, which produces hormones like growth hormones, prolactin, and ACTH, adrenocorticotropic hormone, and the posterior pituitary, which releases oxytocin and vasopressin. When the hypothalamus and the pituitary are functioning well, they create harmony in the endocrine system. But when stress, poor nutrition, or other factors disrupt their communication, it can throw the entire system off balance. Now, let's set the stage. There are two powerful feedback loops associated with the hypothalamus and the pituitary. We have the HPA and the HPO axes. These are like the command centers of our hormonal system. The HPA axis stands for hypothalamus pituitary adrenal, and the HPO is the hypothalamus, the pituitary, and the ovaries. Think of them as the two major highways that connect your brain to your adrenal glands and ovaries, respectively. The HPA axis manages your stress response. It starts in the hypothalamus, which sends signals to the pituitary gland. The pituitary then communicates with your adrenal glands to release cortisol, the stress hormone. Cortisol is essential in small amounts. It helps you wake up, respond to challenges, and maintain blood sugar levels. But when it's out of balance due to chronic stress, you might feel wired but tired, have trouble sleeping, and notice weight gain around your midsection. The HPO axis governs your reproductive hormones. The hypothalamus and the pituitary talk to the ovaries, which produce estrogen, progesterone, and a little testosterone. These hormones regulate your menstrual cycle, fertility, and even your bone and heart health. When the HPO axis is disrupted, maybe from stress, poor diet, or lack of sleep, you might experience irregular cycles, PMS, or symptoms like hot flashes. All right, now it's time to meet the key players in the hormonal hierarchy. In this hormonal symphony, we have cortisol, insulin, all of your sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, and oxytocin, okay? Cortisol is the stress hormone. It is made in the adrenals, which sit on top of the kidneys. High cortisol can show up as anxiety, insomnia, sugar cravings, and belly fat. Low cortisol might leave you feeling fatigued, dizzy when standing up too quickly, or unmotivated. Cortisol is like the top, it's not the top tier of the hormone, but it's up there with the hierarchy, okay? When it is constantly elevated, it can disrupt the other hormones below it, including insulin and your sex hormones. So the next hormone is insulin. This is your blood sugar regulator. So it's the hormone that helps your cells absorb glucose from the blood. Insulin is produced by the pancreas. Signs of insulin resistance include fatigue after meals, sugar cravings, difficulty losing weight, and dark patches of skin, especially around the neck or underarms. Insulin is a foundational hormone. Balanced blood sugar is critical for stable energy and hormonal harmony. Remember, blood sugar balance is one of our foundational nutrition principles as well, and estrogen thrives on stable blood sugar. This is also why, because insulin is above the sex hormones, that if we have insulin resistance, we almost always have a sex hormonal issue, okay? So we have the sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. These are hormones that regulate your menstrual cycle, your libido, and whether you're a boy or a girl. So estrogen, is the queen bee. We talked about her in the last podcast. So she's responsible for the thickening of the uterine lining and maintaining bone density and supple glowing skin. Progesterone is your calming hormone, essential for a healthy nurture phase and a healthy pregnancy. Testosterone, often overlooked in women, is vital for libido, muscle mass, and our mood. All three are produced in the ovaries, but also in the adrenal glands, because remember, the hormonal handoff of perimenopause into menopause is the ovaries stop making these hormones, and now they are produced by the adrenals. Signs that they are out of balance. Estrogen dominance can cause heavy periods, mood swings, and weight gain. Low progesterone might show up as anxiety, insomnia, or spotting before your period. And low testosterone can lead to low libido, fatigue, and muscle weakness, and is almost always caused by insulin resistance. Remember, I said that it's affected by the hormone directly above it. So insulin is affected by cortisol. Sex hormones are affected by insulin. Now, the last hormone is oxytocin. This is your bonding hormone, okay? It's also known as the love hormone. Oxytocin is released during social bonding, physical touch, and even breastfeeding. It is produced in the hypothalamus and released by the pituitary. So low oxytocin can lead to feelings of loneliness, difficulty connecting with others, or even depression. Oxytocin is unique because it's not directly tied to survival, but it plays a massive role in emotional health. It is a crystal clear reminder that mindset and emotional connection, two of our holistic pillars, are essential for overall well-being. Oxytocin is the healer of all things. Okay? Oxytocin keeps cortisol in check. When cortisol is in check, then we don't have to worry about cortisol throwing off our insulin. There is like I said, a hierarchy where they're all tied in together and they all affect one another. So, how do we support this hormonal hierarchy? Well, it starts with addressing the root cause of the imbalance. So, here's a couple of strategies. Stress management. So, incorporate mindfulness, prayer, nature walks, sound baths, yoga, meditation. Remember, cortisol rules the roost. Okay? If cortisol is unhappy, the rest of the hormones are going to suffer. Balance out your nutrition. Focus on protein, healthy fats, and nature's carbs to stabilize blood sugar and support insulin. Obviously, here we talk about the cycle. So cycle syncing is vital. Align your lifestyle with your menstrual cycle to support the HPO axis and all of the sex hormones. Number 4 is sleep and recovery. Prioritize quality sleep. It is essential for hormonal repair, and make sure that you mind the nurture phase of the cycle. Do not discredit rest and recovery. And last, connection. Foster meaningful relationships to boost oxytocin. You will hear me talk about how we are living in the most toxic time in human history, but we are also living in the most disconnected time in history as well. People are so inwardly focused, addicted to social media and modern conveniences, and then there's this false connection that comes from these dopamine hits that these things give. We run 1,000,000 miles an hour and wear busyness like a badge. We aren't authentically connecting with other humans. We are essentially doing life alone, which was never God's intention for us. We are tribal people, okay? Doesn't take much. If you look at the blue zones, right? Or, where they have these areas of the world that have longevity. They live long periods of time. If you look at these people, they wrote a book about it. It's called the blue zones. And you look at what their life looks like. They have community and connection. They all have a purpose. James Maskell wrote a book called The Community Cure, where they studied for a decade how healing happens with people in community when we're not alone, when we know that there are other people who are going through the same things that we are, when we're able to lean in and love on each other. I know I sidebarred a little on connection, but that's how important oxytocin is to our health. It literally has the power to regulate all of the other hormones. So in conclusion, I just want you to understand how this hormonal hierarchy can be empowering. It gives you the tools to listen to your body and make choices that align with your health goals. So if you're experiencing symptoms of imbalance, don't ignore them. They are your body's way of asking for help. Please feel free to reach out and ask questions if you have them. I would be more than happy to help you start biohacking your way to better health. I would encourage you to take small, intentional steps to start supporting your hormones. Manage stress, eat to nourish your body, prioritize sleep, and make time to nurture meaningful connections. Your body has an incredible capacity to heal when given the right tools. So, thanks for tuning in today. If you found this episode helpful, share it with a friend who could use the info on their own health journey. And don't forget to subscribe to Cultivating Her so that you never miss an episode. Next time, I'll be addressing lifestyle and the 5 foundational principles I teach to my clients. Until next time, work toward honoring the beautiful rhythm of your body and take care of yourself. You deserve it. Thank you for joining me on this journey to educate and empower. I hope you found value in what you heard and will come back to listen again. Together, we're going to create a community of women empowered to transform their health. If you're excited to be part of this, please subscribe, leave a review, and share with the other women in your life who need health support tailored to that X chromosome. Until next time, be kind, be well, cultivate your health.